Good morning folks, today we have a large update to bring improvements for our recently released US content, New York-Trenton and the Amtrak Acela. This includes a range of fixes for ACSES/ATC systems, ensuring our introductions and tutorials function correctly, and preloading our Easter assets in advance of a themed mastery in-game event which will be starting from tomorrow. These changes are live on all platforms. Please view our full change list of patch notes below. Core fixed trains glowing or flickering when in dark stations and tunnels when it is raining. ACSES/ATC fixes and improvements. Various improvements and fixes to the ASUS and ACSES. Fixed ACSES from showing a negative speed enforcement in non-ACSES territory when active. ACSES now falls back to ATC if both systems are enabled but not in ACSES territory. If ATC is not cut in but ACSES is, ACSES limits to non-active or error speed, 79 miles per hour. Entering ACSES territory no longer triggers a penalty when ACSES is not cut in. Improved handling of alarm resets, such as if ATC causes the alarm and then ACSES becomes active system, you couldn't reset the ATC alarm since your acknowledgement went to the ACSES system. Many updates to systems with variations between ACSES and ASUS. Fixed bad behavior where certain locations on the Trenton route would cause ACSES to fail. Adjusted required brake pipe pressures for suppression state. Training center improvements to visuals and collisions inside the training center building. Added NPCs idling around the training center building. Don't make eye contact, they get nervous. Fixed floating trees, and removed scenery that was placed over roads/roundabouts. Fixed billboards facing the wrong direction, preventing them from being seen. Tunnels should now have correct lighting throughout the day/night cycle. Player can no longer walk through various rocks and pillars. Easter event: we're running an Easter-themed mastery event across our training center, starting April 5th, and open all month. More information on this event will be shared tomorrow, with details on how you can take part in a special in-game event and earn Easter-themed decals. Easter Mastery Event assets added. New York-Trenton introduction/tutorials/scenarios improvements to tutorials for the ALP46 and ACS64. The closed doors objective will now require the doors to be closed in the Amflate cab car introduction. Added press the brake cut-in objective to the cab to the race scenario. Ensured locos are correctly set up for ATCS and ACSES introductions. Reduced NPC aggression towards the player by 75%, so passengers will no longer bump the player away from the introduction starting points. Signaling a large range of fixes across the route covering improved aspects to increase player speeds, fixing signals showing invalid aspects, and other visual errors. Route art adjusted and tweaked lighting at multiple stations where it needs correcting or appears too dark. Connected OHLE poles at Harrison Station and improved placements at Sunnyside Yard. Fixed 2 signals on track 18 at Penn Station that were not attached to the track. Removed helium inside trees and cars to prevent floating scenery and vehicles across the route. Improvements to reduce how often you see the white light at the end of unloaded tunnels. Added whistle boards to East River Tunnel entrances. Gameplay: player can no longer escape from Edison Station. Good luck. Player can no longer walk through benches at Elizabeth Station. Added go vias to service timetables in Scenario E. NPCs will now correctly disembark from all stations. Improvements made to various formations so doors now correctly open on the correct sides. Signal heads in East River tunnels now have 6 lamps, with red, yellow, and green lamps on the bottom heads. White center lamp on Spider signal at Newark Penn Station, Track 5, will no longer light up. Updates to railway station track speed restrictions. Updated signal head on Track 3 at LAC interlocking to have red, yellow, and green lamps. Fixed issues with the signal after the car wash at Sunnyside Yard. General improvements and fixes made to signals to prevent flashing white aspects. Fixed motion blur on wheels on Amflate vehicles and cab car. Corrected font color on Amflate cars. ALP 46 fixed passenger door interlock becoming stuck. Traction lock will now update correctly when operating passenger doors. Train doors should now correctly open and close in unison. All together now. Fixed safety systems being active despite being set to cut out. Changed cab desk light controls to show on and off based on state. Improved EP brake cut-in functionality behavior. Fixed alerter enabled state to take into account reverser being in off and cab disabled, prevents cases of alerters going off in disabled cabs. By levels front pies will change to display the current destination. Passengers will no longer board the cab through the walls. Updated coupler positions to have inner metal plate touching, and adjusted animations for side barriers. Improved weather materials for rain effects. Metroliner cab car fixed lock both button to correctly close both sets of doors. ACSES 64 fixed door indicators. Acela fixed an issue preventing safety systems from resetting after being tripped. With ACSES cut-in if approaching a stop signal, the ATC cab aspect will downgrade to a stop signal aspect when within range of the signal. Approaching a stop signal with ACSES cut-in, the ATC cab aspect will downgrade to a stop signal aspect when within range of the signal. Overspeed and suppression indicators will now update correctly. Fixed an issue caused by enabling safety systems before activating the cab.